Okay, so today we're going to dive into a city in Bihar, India called Muzaffarpur.
Sounds good.
And from what you've told me, we have a bunch of different info on it, like its geography and
Yeah.
history and the economy and culture. So I guess the mission here is to try to find like the most interesting and important things about Muzaffarpur.
Yeah, exactly. I think we really want to get to the heart of what defines this city, like, beyond just the
Whoa.
basic facts that you would initially find when you first hear about it.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, well, one thing I saw right away was that it's called the Land of Lychees.
Yeah?
It's a big producer and exporter of Shahi lychees, apparently. You can even
Oh.
visit the lychee gardens during harvest season. That would be.
That's really interesting. I
Oh,
think what's really fascinating about that nickname, the Land of Lychees, is
yeah,
how
yeah.
a single agricultural product can kind of shape a city's identity, right?
Yeah,
Potentially even on a global scale.
totally.
It makes you think about how these really specialized regional economies develop.
Yeah, for sure. And this isn't anything new. The name Muzaffarpur itself actually comes from
Hmm.
Muzaffar Khan. He was like a revenue officer,
Okay.
during British East India Company times, basically in charge of collecting taxes.
Oh, interesting.
But it was also part of the ancient Masila region, which means it has this
Wow.
really long and rich cultural history, to think about.
I mean, that's amazing when you connect those two things together, right? From those
Yeah.
ancient regional affiliations to then the colonial administration. You
Yeah.
can really see how all these different historical periods have left their mark on the city as it is today.
Definitely.
And then on top of that, you've got its role in the Indian independence movement
Oh,
with
right.
the Cootie Ram Bose Memorial. It adds a whole other layer to its story.
Absolutely. Okay, so geographically, it's in the Tirhut region on the banks of the Budi Gandak River.
Okay.
And it's a pretty important commercial and educational center in North Bihar,
Hmm.
but it's not like isolated or anything. It's got good connections to major cities.
Yeah.
By rail and road, so like Patna, Delhi, Kolkata, all those places.
Okay.
Muzaffarpur Junction is a busy railway station, apparently, and there are national highways
Yeah.
like NH 27 and NH 57, which would affect, trade and travel for the region.
That connectivity, I think, really highlights how strategically important it is as like a regional center.
Yeah.
It's not just about moving goods, but also ideas and people, which is crucial for a place like this.
For sure. And they've got other stuff going on besides just the lychees.
Okay.
Makana or foxnut and sugar are big for the region.
Okay.
And it's a trade hub for things like textiles and agriculture and dairy.
Interesting. So not a one-trick pony.
No, definitely not.
I mean, this actually raises an interesting question then about the city's resilience. You know,
Yeah.
while the lychee industry is obviously very prominent, having those other sectors probably contributes to a greater stability
Right.
over time if there were ever any issues.
Exactly. And culturally, from what I read, it sounds like a really lively place. They have big celebrations for festivals like Chhath Puja, Durga Puja, and Eid.
Wow.
And they speak a mix of languages there, like Mathili Bhojpuri and Hindi.
Yeah. That really makes you think about the social environment.
Yeah,
We must be very dynamic with all these different traditions and communities interacting.
absolutely. Okay, so for anyone who's thinking about visiting or just wants to know more,
Yeah.
some of the main attractions they mentioned were the Baba Garib Nath Temple, which some people call
Oh,
the Devgar of Bihar. There's also the Ramchandra Shahi Museum with historical artifacts.
okay.
And then if you need some green space, there's Jubasani Park.
Nice.
And then there's BRA Bihar University, which makes it a big educational center,
Yeah.
plus healthcare facilities like the Sri Krishna Medical College and hospital.
I mean, that really shows you how multifaceted this city is, right?
Totally.
It's got spiritual, historical, recreational,
Yeah.
educational, healthcare, all these different aspects
So
represented.
it's definitely a lot more than just the land of lychees.
Oh, for sure.
It has its history in the ancient Mithila region, a diverse economy, and a lively culture with multiple languages and festivals, plus it's well connected geographically.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how Muzaffarpur kind of exemplifies the connections between
Yeah.
agricultural specializations in historical development and modern connectivity.
Right.
It really makes you wonder what other seemingly niche places might have similar stories to tell.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.